Good morning, traders, and welcome back to the Trader Bacon Show. I'm your host, Gates Adams, and just before we started in, we were talking about the fact of how much I miss you guys when I am away, and having missed 2 out of the last 3 weeks has definitely had an effect on me. I am so happy and so excited to be back with you guys today. I have an awesome show prepared for you guys today, but first and foremost, wanted to do a few mentions. First of all, if you are looking for a new evaluation, 80% off evaluations and 1 day to pass. We've got 9 days left on that, 9.5 days, I should say. So please make sure to take advantage of that if you are looking for some new evaluations. Great opportunity to make sure you get that handled. We will be giving away 3 evaluations during this show, as we always do. Form is there in the chat, so make sure you fill out the form to have a chance at winning one of those. From last week, we have 3 winners, Jara, Ivan, and Henrik. So congratulations to the 3 of you. Awesome job there, and good luck with those. Definitely want to see some great activity with those as well. Also, I wanted to mention $83 million paid out to traders by Apex Trader Funding in the last 90 days. Folks, that is almost an average of $1 million a day, including weekends. If we look at just trading days, that's well over $1 million a day, average paid to traders in the last 90 days, in the last 3 months. So that is friggin' awesome. I love seeing that kind of stuff. As you guys know, I have been doing quite a bit of traveling over the course of the last month. So the Forged Trader podcast has finished season 1, 12 episodes already up on iTunes and Spotify. So if you haven't watched those, this is a phenomenal time to catch up. New episodes will be coming out in August, so I'm super excited about getting back on that. If you guys haven't had a chance to catch those, make sure to follow me on all socials at The Forged Trader. I do my live daily recaps on my trades. I went 0 for 3 today. Unfortunately, I'll be recapping that after the show today. And just talking about taking a week off and coming back and getting into the swing of things. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Of course, I only traded evaluation today, knowing that I'm a little bit rusty. So I did not trade PAs today. But anyway, so super excited about that. And I may be doing some live streaming of my trading if you guys are interested through my social media. So check that out as well. Today, I have Nema from California. Nema and I have had a chance to get to know each other over the course of the last few months. Due to his success as a trader, and he is going to share with you today some of the keys that have brought him continued and ongoing success over the recent months as a trader with Apex Trader Funding. So let's, without further ado, let's bring up Nema on today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now. Man, I'm giddy like a little schoolgirl to be back in the seat here hosting the show, Nema. Welcome. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, Gates. How you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic. It is great to have you here today. So what is going on with you, man? How's everything been going?
Everything's been going good, progressing, trying to keep that consistency up, trying to keep everything, on the up and up. But you got your good days, you got your bad days.
And that is part of the deal. There is nobody who trades 100%. So we've got to take the good with the bad. As long as the good exceeds the bad, we're on the right track, man. So let's talk a little bit about your background and your trading history. How long have you been trading at this point?
I'm right around 3 years right now. I started off with options. I had someone kind of show me the ropes a little bit. And I had a really, really lucky streak in the beginning. I call it beginner's luck. No skill, no technical analysis, no nothing. Did really good nonstop 3 months, made a lot of profit. And then we kind of had a little, I guess you can say, reality hit me in the face. And then it just started going loss after loss after loss. It went like that nonstop for about 9 months straight. So right around a year, I'll give you my numbers. Right around a year, I had profited about 100K and lost 75,000 of that profit over the 9 months of going down. So I was still green about 25, which wasn't bad, but being at that number of 100 was very jarring to go back down to 25. So I kind of took a breather for a little bit, took a year off, came back, did options for a couple weeks, and I had a lot of my friends actually joining into Apex. I
Hmm.
haven't traded futures before at that time, but everyone was saying, "Hey, this was a good way to take away that personal risk that you
Hmm.
take." But
Sure.
it's not like paper trading where it's like you can just risk it all and you have no emotion. It's still simulated trading with real money to me in a very realistic way. And first few months I struggled, but just the comparison of having to deal with Greeks versus on futures, you just got to get your direction right was very good for me. You know, I was good at direction, not so much as exact strike price and time estimation per se.
Right. Now, Elon makes the comment that in 2021 he had a similar experience. I know a lot of traders did, whether it was crypto, whether it was options, whether it was futures. The market was such that so many traders got in, and really without a lot of knowledge and experience, were making a lot of money. I mean, they were seeing gains hand over fist in some cases, and then reality set in.
Yep.
Winning doesn't necessarily mean skill. And I think that's where a lot of us kind of had that reality check of, okay, look, I see that there's the potential here. However, I need to develop myself as a trader if I really want to make this into a consistent income stream. So what is it that you did at that point where you took this big hit and then you started trading with Apex, which definitely softened the financial blow as you were going through that process. But what did you do to bring yourself out of that and start to develop that skill?
Uh, Big thing for me was YouTube videos, learning,
Mhm.
and I would say the most significant was screen time.
Yeah,
Just when I was doing options, it was kind of open a trade, watch it for 5, 10 minutes. Okay, I'll let it sit for a little bit and go do something else. That
sure.
was the mindset I was kind of in. Like, hey, I don't want to spend 8 hours a day on this, or I don't want to spend 5 to 6 hours a day on this, and that wasn't really realistic. I
Mhm.
thought I could. It was what everyone call a passive income,
Right.
and so that's what I wanted it to be. And once reality had set in, I kind of realized that's not how it works,
Mhm.
and that the best thing for me would be screen time. So I was after my 9 to 5, I would sit in front of the charts for futures NQES and just sit there and watch them maybe 6 to 8 hours a day.
Mhm.
And I would take trades here and there, and slowly but surely, I had started noticing patterns. Also, learning how to read footprint charts, different type of charts really helped. But really, I can't emphasize enough. Screen time really helped me. You know, you kind of get a gut feeling for certain things, as well as I would say working on your mentality. That's a
Sure.
big one for me too, which I'm still working on today.
As are we all for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about screen time, were you watching live charts or were you like watching mass amounts of replay kind of sped up so that you could see a little bit more action at the time? How did that work for you?
In the very beginning, I was actually doing a lot of live charts.
Yeah.
When I was starting the futures, I was just doing live charts, just on the Tradovate screen, just watching it
Mhm.
in the see what happens. And then as I got into maybe 3, 4 months, I did a little bit of back testing.
Mhm.
I never really did replays and watch the replays, but I did a little back testing, see
Mhm.
what works, what doesn't work. When I found a strategy that kind of, I was like, okay, it's not 100%, it's not 70%, 60% though. If I, tweak the risk and reward against that 60% strategy, it can
Mhm.
really work in my favor, which has really worked in my favor as long as I maintain that risk and reward strategy and I don't let my losses go above that set rule. Because when I break my rules, it gets bad very fast.
Well, I know I've said this on the show. I've said this on the podcast. I've said this live. I say it over and over again. It's a slippery slope. The second you break one rule, you break second, third, fourth, and fifth. And that's usually when, I know for me, in my experience, that's when accounts get blown. Really, when you look at the way that my rules are set up, I mean, I'd have to have like 5 losing days in a row, like max loss days in a row, in order to blow an account, yet somehow it always seems to happen in one day. So that's, of course, a great indication that it's not my strategy, it's not my rules, it's me. It's the
Right.
actions that I'm taking, and I know I'm not unique in this experience. And I think this is one of the things that it's a hard lesson to learn because you have to override those feelings. As I'm sitting here, my trading coach, you guys got to meet Kevin a second time a few weeks ago. It's like, yeah, don't trade your feelings, trade the charts. And it's great advice. And it's hard advice to follow through on, but it's critical. And once we learn how to do that, at least most of the time, we start to see a difference in a shift in those results. I know I have. So what was it for you that really turned you into, look, none of us is perfect, but into the point where you were consistently moving forward, you were consistently winning, you were consistently getting payouts?
Really, it was just I had to set rules, I would say about 3 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't take them too seriously, I would say.
Right.
But right around 3 months ago, I just kind of realized, okay, I've had these rules for a little bit time now, and I'm not really taking them seriously. Let's try to follow those rules. Like I had certain market times of the market I would play. I wouldn't do, any time of the day. But
Sure.
if I stayed to those times, I would be very successful. If
Right.
I stayed to A1 setups, I would be very successful.
Right.
If I didn't, rush things, I would be very successful. So then I had a nice streak of about a month where I was following my rules, doing everything I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then randomly one day, I remember I opened the chart right after work. My time windows, preferably, I start around 9 p.m. PST and I trade till about 2, 3 a.m.
Okay.
PST. So one day after work, about 5 p.m., I opened the chart and I just seeing it for 1 second, even though not seeing the previous price action or how it's moving, I just took a trade and then I took a loss, took another trade, took a loss. And that started about a week of very bad behavior where I wouldn't wait till my 9 p.m. slot because I wanted to make up for the thing that I did yesterday at 5 p.m. And then I would just blow the account in one day, or let's start another evaluation account, and
Right.
then just that cycle just continued and continued until after about a week I realized, okay, you're just blowing through eval accounts. About a week ago, you were getting your payouts on multiple, PA accounts. So why are you doing this when you know this other thing works?
Right.
So it's really that push and pull of keeping yourself in check.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still having a lot of difficulty with it today, but it's it's a learning process.
Sure.
I know it's a long journey too. 3 years isn't a lot of years in trading
Right.
versus a lot of people, but it is nice to see that the previous 3 years was worth it. And one thing that you when me and you had talked about, which I really liked that you said was, all that money that I had spent on eval accounts wasn't money lost, but it was uh experience gained. I spent that money to gain that experience. And again, I come back to it was a lot cheaper to gain this experience with Apex versus if I had done it on my own. I can't tell you how much money I could have lost if I had done it on my own.
We all know 75 grand would have bought a lot of evals.
It probably would have lasted me 4 or 5 years of experience with Apex.
Well, and of course that's the whole point. And you guys know me, I can sit here and talk about trader mindset all day long. That's kind of my thing. But without a strategy, none of it matters. Yes, of course we have to have a solid strategy. So if you don't mind, man, let's take a look at some charts and let's look at what strategy you've learned that, coupled with that proper mindset, has gotten you positive payouts in the last few months.
So these are the two main charts I use. I just use a standard 3-minute chart. And then I got, it's moving down a lot right now. And I got my,
I think I'm out.
I know it is a really good thing that you're out. And I got my volume footprint chart.
Right.
Really, I use my volume footprint chart just for the deltas.
Okay.
See where we're, if we're swinging more bearish or more bullish. And I use it for just more scalping short term.
Sure.
Over here, these lines are just my fibs. I have a special program that will automatically chart my fibs after the first 30 minutes after open. And fibs do help a lot. I will use them as levels, and then I'll chart levels throughout the week depending on, value area high. Just volume profile is a very big one for me. I can't tell you, learning volume profile really, really helped me a lot with trading. Just understanding the price at which certain traders will jump into a trade, leave the trade, high volume nodes versus low volume nodes. it made a huge difference in my I guess my consistency of winning versus losing.
So
But
let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's dig into that a little bit because we really haven't dug into this much on the show. So show us what it is that you're looking at and what you're looking for and what that actually tells you about where it's going from here, at least as far as what you can at least see coming.
right. So you got these yellow and blue bars on the right side. This is my volume profile.
Right.
So this essentially shows at around 19,913 on the NQ right now. This is where you've had a lot of volume at this price. You can
Right.
see these little high peaks in the volume profile. These we call them high volume nodes. I mean, right now it's kind of ranging in between these two prices. So you're not seeing a big significant difference in your peaks versus your valleys. But sometimes what I'll do is if I have a big distance in between the peak and the valley, let's say like right now, right here, we're getting into a low volume node. It would be, beneficial to me to maybe trade into when we hit that high volume node up at the top.
Okay.
But as you can see, it's going back down to this, point of control more or less. And then I'll use the indicators from the volume profile, which is point of control, volume area high, volume area low, to kind of see where it's trending for the day. But really using my levels with fibs, and then I make levels throughout the day with the high volume nodes and the low volume nodes. That really is how I trade mostly.
So you're looking for that volume profile. Now, of course, you're probably looking for something on this. We see this
Yeah,
thing
I know.
just go. So what is it that you're looking at on your bars that are going to give you that indication of what to do with that volume profile?
On the candlesticks or on
Yeah,
the
on the
okay,
candlesticks.
I mean, on the candlesticks, really, I just wanted to see it to get far enough from a high volume node to where I can see, all right, this is not having as much of a, I call it like a magnet attraction. Like the high volume nodes and the current price really do. It works like a magnet. When it gets far enough from one, close enough to the next, it'll actually, start attracting to the other one and not from the last one. That's
Right.
the way I kind of see it. So I want to see it to get far enough from a high volume node, and then just enough to where, okay, you can see that influence that high volume node had on the price is no longer there. So then I can trade confidently knowing that, okay, I can take in, like, say if it was going up in this case to maybe this volume node, I can take a long. Now I don't have to wait till it hits this high volume node. I just wait till it hits my target.
Right.
Once it hits my target, I'm out.
Now, how are you setting your targets and your stops? Like, how do you do your trade management based on this information?
I do it based off risk and reward. I try to do a 3-to-1.
Okay.
So my target for the day would be whole target for the day would be about 600, and I'll try to do between 200 to 250 profit on a trade, meaning I can only lose about, 75 to $100 on a trade max. As long as I stay within that risk and reward, I for every, like you say, 3 trades, if I make one profitable trade, I'll about break even. But usually I do a little bit better than that. My consistency is right around 60%. So right around the point where my, risk and reward can work beneficial for me in the long run.
Awesome. Now I'm struggling to see the corner. What do we? We're looking at NQ right now. Is that right?
Yes, they're both NQ. Yes, sorry.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. No worries. So what is it? What does a typical move look like for you? Are you looking for like a 10 ticks, a 10 point, or what size move do you typically see, or is it based on where that movement looks like it's going to go?
It really is based on where it looks like that move is going to go. I mean, I would say majority for me, it's more of like 10 points max. I won't do more than 10 points. I'm more of a scalp trader. It's just more in and out.
Right.
So, and like I said, majority of the time I trade is 9 p.m. PST to about 2 a.m. PST. So that window from 9 p.m. to midnight it's a really slow. So I'll do like 10 ticks, not 10 points at that time.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely not seeing that level of volume. So of course that adjustment has to be made. But the beautiful thing about trading is you can set your risk, you can set your sizing to meet your risk and your profit target.
100%. Yeah, during that time, I will size a little bit higher, maybe maybe one additional contract instead
Right.
of just a single, 2 to 3
Gotcha.
sometimes.
So what are we seeing over here on the right, and what is this telling you as far as your trade management as well?
Your volume footprint chart. This is really telling you at more specifically at more price points. So you can see this is for this is 881 to 878. So about $3, every $3, it will tell you the actual numbers, how
Mhm.
many buys you're getting, how many sells you're getting. Then at the bottom, it'll tell you your delta. So right now we're swinging bullish. We
Mhm.
have more bullish volume than bearish volume. And then on these actual bar charts themselves, you see these two little white lines with arrows. Those will be your for that single bar. This will be your volume area high, your volume area low, and then volume area high is up here. So right now we're in volume area high, so it has potential to keep going up as long as we stay bullish, which we didn't.
Now, is this more for confirmation?
Always, yeah. It's more for confirmation. Like if we hit a certain level, like on our fibs or something that I had charted previously,
Mhm.
I'll look over here and say like, all right, is it good to trade this level on a bounce, or is it just going to shoot right through and I'll just wait till the next level?
Right. Very good. So over time, obviously, you've worked through, obviously, I would presume a variety of strategies, setups, all of these things. I mean, 3 years is a long time to watch a lot of videos. How did you end up on this as your primary trading strategy?
Honestly, just using it, to be honest with you. I mean, like I did a lot of back testing on a lot of different strategies,
Mhm.
but for me, it's just applying it in my actual trading, seeing how I can use it, seeing how I react mentally,
Mhm.
just actually applying it is what saw me like I had other strategies that were okay, but the consistency of being right was not as much,
Mhm.
and it would give me a lot of false signals.
Sure.
And I was having a lot of difficulty trying to, find out what's a false signal, what's not a false signal. And
Right.
so this strategy just helps me a lot more with, like you said, I have the confirmation with my volume footprint charts,
Mhm.
and I don't get as many false signals. And for me, it's a lot more apparent what is a B setup, what is a A setup, what
Right.
is just that's the trade I need to take. And sometimes it's the only trade I need to take for the day. That's ideal for me. I try to take as minimum trades a day as possible.
Whatever it takes to get there and be out and be done, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So at this point, you have developed a positive cash flow from trading, which is, of course, why we have you on the show. But what has this done to like your world as far as look? I know you've got a day job. I know your day job is somewhat intense. That where do you see yourself going from here? What milestones have you hit personally, and what do you see coming up next?
Realistically, if I can get to a point where I can see I'm making up to, let's say, 6 figures or more a
Mhm.
year off of trading without, that's just profit alone
Right,
after taxes. Let's say after taxes, then
right.
I would, actually consider, quitting my job. My first time about 3 years ago when I did really good, I did make about 100,000 in about 2 months. But my biggest mistake was 2 months was not enough to see like, hey, is this viable? Can I
Right,
do this consistently for a full year? And I kind of jumped the gun there and I quit my job.
right.
And it was something I regretted at the time because the reason I had to stop around 9 months, I mean, sorry, about a year of that 9 month losing streak.
Uh-oh. Nema, you still with us? Uh-oh.
Do I still got you, Gates?
There we go. I hear you. There we go. I
Sorry,
got you.
man.
Okay, no
Sorry
worries.
about that. But yeah, it was not having an income flow to continue my learning process, more or
Mhm.
less. I had to literally stop trading. It got to a point where my savings were not enough to where I can continue this behavior. And so I said, all right, I need to get a job again. So I got a job after a few months, saved up some money. I was like, all right, we can do this slowly. And that's what actually pushed me towards Apex, was that I don't have as much room as I did when I first started trading. Let's try this way where I can really lower the amount of risk
Mhm.
and still learn. And so that's why this time around I'm dead set on I want to see at least 6 months consistency of payout after payout, and at least a full year of, all right, you've made 100K in the last year. If you can replicate that over another 6 months, let's say about a year and a half, then I would consider losing my job. I mean, quitting my job, but I wouldn't, at least for another 2, 3 years. I don't see that being happening at all.
Well, I was going to say, let's hope the boss isn't listening to the show today.
Yeah, I guarantee you he is not.
No, 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 no. So what is it that you want to put into place for you? What are your targets and your milestones along the way that you want to see happen that lets you know that you're moving in that direction, aside from just the numbers?
Aside from just the numbers, uh, really, like I said, it's consistency.
Hmm.
It's I want to see, yes, I can get a 60, 70% consistency on one account, but I want to see that I'm doing that without blowing the account once a month,
Hmm.
going through so many accounts. Right. I mean, right now, to be 100% transparent with Apex, I've made quite a bit of money and I've spent quite a bit of money. I'm
Sure.
still green overall, but I did spend quite a bit of money on evals and PA accounts. And I believe that's because when I started becoming profitable, I sized up on my copy trading accounts a little too soon.
Right.
I started trading too many accounts at once. And so when you blow a group of PA accounts, you're not just blowing $100, you're blowing 400, 500, however
Right.
much. And that can happen a few times before I get in my stride again, when I can buckle down, follow my rules and all of that. But really, milestone for me is just consistency, consistency, consistency.
Have you been working on anything outside of your strategy, outside of stuff that we've talked about so far, that has helped you develop and work towards? Here's the thing: trading is a game of progress, not perfection. We will never be perfect traders. So what is it that you're doing that is driving that movement, that consistency at this point?
Uh, Ironically enough, working on my mentality.
Hmm.
That's that is the biggest one right now. It's like you said, you can have the best strategy in the world. It won't make a difference if you're not in a good mental space and you aren't trading with positive mental attitude, and you let your mental trade rather than the chart itself, or
Sure.
trade with emotion. And working on that has been the toughest thing for me. I mean, I started trying, like, meditating before my session. I started trying that. That's helped a little bit. I mean, I was discussing with Gates not too long ago how recently I experienced for the first time a lot of stress
Hmm.
before starting my trading session. Before, I loved everything about trading. Yeah, I stressed while I was trading, of course, but it was always excitement to start my trading once I was done with work for the day.
Right.
Recently, a couple weeks ago, I had this feeling of, oh no, I have to trade today, to the point where it was so stressful that I started procrastinating and
Right.
I didn't trade for that day, which was a first for me. I'm always excited to trade, but now I'm in this mental space where it's like, yeah, I think I started a little bit of consistency. So it's really putting pressure on myself to
Mhm.
continue that consistency, and that pressure is kind of building up inside me when I don't perform, because
Right.
it's like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing wrong? You start questioning everything about your strategy, everything about your mentality, what you can do to fix it. And really, sometimes it really helps to have someone else there to be like, all right, this is what you need to do, because it can be a very lonely world, as Gates always says, when you're just in front of your screen trading. And it helps to have accountability or someone else there to be like, all right, take a breather, try not to think too much about this session, just stop for the day. Let's try again tomorrow and see what happens. And if you continue this activity, we need to do something about that mentality, type of thing.
Awesome. Well, and that's the thing. You can learn a strategy a lot faster than you can develop the discipline. They're two different skills, and they don't equate to one another in terms of how long it takes to work through and develop and grow. So it is an ongoing process, and of course, in my humble opinion, it is very much a mindset game. Everything else comes together when that piece is running well. And being able to recognize that, being able to recognize those feelings of hesitation, of dread, all of these things are great indicators that something else is going on, and that it's not about your strategy at the moment. It's about what's going on in between the ears. So that said, man, just real quick, want to make sure that I'll let everybody know we will be back next week. I will be back next week. I'm not looking forward to taking any time off anytime soon because I miss you guys when I am gone. And so we will have a fantastic show for you guys next week. Do not forget 80% off and 1 day to pass. We have 9.5 days left on that, so make sure you take full advantage of that. Go check out the Forge Trader podcast. Oh, by the way, make sure you use promo code Benzinga. Sorry about that. Make sure you use promo code Benzinga to make sure that you get the best deal possible. No matter what day you go do this, Benzinga code will get you the best deal possible. Check out the Forge Trader podcast. If you haven't listened to the 12 episodes, this is a great time to catch up as we get prepared for a new season starting in August. I'm looking forward to that as well. Check us out, Apex at Apex Trade Fund on Twitter or X. I'm at The Forge Trader. Nema, thank you so much for sharing some insight with us today. This has been an awesome show. As Easy Mike says, great show, man. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me, Gates. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week on the Trader Bacon Show. Thanks for joining the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Make sure to join us next time.